police to monitor serial rapist when he returns. Adnan's widow named as BN's Tanjung Datu candidate. Hi, I'm Desiree Gaspar and this is Cuppa News. Notorious serial rapist Selva Kumar Subaya, convicted of sexually assaulting dozens of women in Toronto, Canada, will be closely monitored by police once he steps foot on Malaysian soil. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Khalid Abu Bakar said his Canadian counterpart has informed him that Selva Kumar will be deported on Sunday. He said police will have his statement recorded upon his return and that he will be monitored based on his criminal records and existing jurisdiction and authority. Bukit Aman have also requested for all of Selva Kumar's criminal records from Canadian authorities. Toronto Star had reported that the 56-year-old felon will be deported to Malaysia on February 5th. Selva Kumar was convicted of drugging and sexually assaulting dozens of women in the late 1980s and early 1990s while posing as a modelling agent, movie producer and professional dancer. Barisan Nasional has named Puan Sri Jamila Anu, the widow of the late Tan Sri Adnan Satim, as their candidate for the Tanjung Datu by-election. Her candidacy was announced by Chief Minister and State Barisan Chairman Dato' Amar Abang Johari Tun Openg at the PBB headquarters.
Saya yakin bahawa seperti mana sokongan yang telah diberi kepada Tok Nan, begitu juga sokongan akan diberi kepada Dato' Amar Jamila. Actually, she has been very active. She has gone to the ground to help Tok Nan, and I can tell you, she is really grassroots leader. From the days when Tok Nan was the Wakil Rakyat in Moratuang, she also played her role in Moratuang and subsequently in Tanjung Datuk. Ever since Tanjung Datuk was created as a constituency and held by Tok Nan. Then also Batang Sadong when Tok Nan was MP. And that is the character of Datuk Jamila. So all the component parties consensus in our support to Datuk Amar Jamila as our candidate.
The Tanjung Datu state seat fell vacant following Adnan's death on January 11th. The owner of the Bangi nursery where two toddlers and an infant were allegedly abused early January has been charged with 3 counts of abuse and for operating the place without a permit. 45-year-old Sayani Ahmad claimed trial to all the charges against her. Photographs of the children lying on the ground, tied up with pieces of white cloth, had earlier gone viral on social media. Nursery supervisor Nur Azurin Muhammad Nordin and worker Nur Hazira Muhammad Azuki also faced 3 charges each for abetting Sayani. The 3 were said to have committed the offence at Taska Ilham Kasih in Bandar Baru Bangi on January 3rd. Judge Nurida Adam fixed bail at 10,000 ringgit for each accused pending mention on February 21st. They managed to post bail. The Kota Kinabalu City Hall will be posting guards at jetties in Tanjung Aru to ensure that tour companies did not use them to illegally ferry tourists, said Mayor Dato' Yeo Boon Hai. Yeo said that while the jetty used as a boarding point for the ill-fated catamaran, which sank on Saturday, was a legal structure, it was only meant for fishermen and not tourists. Yeo, who visited the area, also said that enforcement officers had been instructed to demolish a pier at the jetty as well as seal off landing stages which had been illegally used by boat passengers. Meanwhile, the search for the missing 5 Chinese tourists and crew member of the catamaran has now been expanded into the waters of Miri, Sarawak. 22 Chinese nationals were rescued from the vessel and 3 lost their lives in the tragic incident. The US Embassy has assured that Malaysians are not affected by President Donald Trump's travel blacklist. The assurance comes after a local online portal reported that Malaysia is among 20 new countries included in the ban. A US Embassy spokesman said that the executive order stands as it is and Malaysians could continue to travel to the United States with a valid visa. The official also said that the US government is committed to facilitating legitimate travel for international visitors while ensuring the security of US borders. The portal has since removed the post. Last Friday, Trump signed the executive order which suspended refugee entry for 120 days and Syrian refugees indefinitely. The order, which also bars the issuing of visas for 90 days from 6 predominantly Muslim countries, has sparked multiple protests in the United States and various parts of the world. In other news, President Trump nominated 10th Circuit Judge Neil Gorsuch to fill the Supreme Court seat left vacant for nearly a full year by Justice Antonin Scalia following his death last February. The 49-year-old is the youngest nominee to the nation's highest court in more than a quarter century and could influence the direction of the court for decades, including help shape rulings on divisive issues such as abortion, gun control, the death penalty and religious rights.
Standing here in a house of history and acutely aware of my own imperfections, I pledge that if I am confirmed, I will do all my powers permit to be a faithful servant of the Constitution and laws of this great country. It is for Congress and not the courts to write new laws. It is the role of judges to apply, not alter the work of the people's representatives. A judge who likes every outcome he reaches is very likely a bad judge, stretching for results he prefers rather than those the law demands.
The Colorado native faces a potentially contentious confirmation battle in the US Senate after Republicans last year refused to consider Democratic President Barack Obama's nominee to fill the vacancy. Kiwi voters will go to the polls on September 23rd in an election that will revolve around the economy and the need for a stable government. Prime Minister Bill English, who took over as Premier in December following the unexpected resignation of his predecessor John Key, will seek a fourth term for the centre-right National Party, which has governed for the last 8 years.
We've chosen this date simply because it's almost 3 years since the date of the last election. In this particular year, we think it's important that the Prime Minister of New Zealand at the time represents the country at global forums like APEC and the East Asia Summit, which fall in the latter part of the year.
A baby fell 12 meters to its death at the Uzbekistan shopping mall in Uzbekistan after the mother allegedly tripped over her long dress while on the escalator. The woman was holding the child in her right arm and holding another older child with her left hand. The Daily Mail reported that emergency crews rushed to the scene but were unable to save the baby. It is not clear when the incident took place or whether the baby was a boy or a girl. Nearly 2,000 people floated in a line in a salty lake in Argentina, setting a peculiar new Guinness World Record for the most people floating while holding hands. The group of 1,941 people floated simultaneously for 30 seconds in late Epicuan and beat the previous record, which was set on June 28, 2014. The previous record at Sun Moon Lake in Taiwan saw 634 people floating in a line. Locals and tourists participating in the feat were aged from 10 to 80, with people travelling from all over Buenos Aires to participate in the challenge. And that's a wrap for Cuppa News. Thanks for watching and good night.